Hello, my name is Drake Taylor. I want to introduce you to one of the coolest parasites, in my opinion, the brutal bug, the spider wasp. So, spider wasp is a name given to multiple species of parasitic wasp. It encompasses a wide range from North America all the way up to Asia. Um, but a certain group of spider wasps I really want to focus on are tarantula hawks. They are found in North America and South America and in parts of Africa. And they are probably one of the coolest insects, in my opinion. So, tarantula hawks are wasp. But what is a wasp, you may ask? Wasps have certain characteristics that define them and separate them from bees and ants that are also part of their evolutionary branch of insects. First, wasps have slender, smooth bodies, which are kind of opposition to bees, which tend to be pretty chubby. They have few hairs, which bees have tons of hair. If you've ever seen a bumblebee, it's like a floating cotton ball out in the air. And they have stingers. Stingers that can stab multiple times, as some of you might know if you have any interaction with a angry wasp before. Wasps are part of the greater kingdom of Animalia. They belong to the order Hymenoptera, and tarantula hawks in particular belong to the suborder Eprosita and the superfamily Pompilioidae. A certain species of tarantula hawks I want to focus on that can be found in the Mojave Desert and the surrounding deserts. In that area of this southern western part of the United States is Pepus heros. It's the largest species of tarantula hawk, which is pretty awesome. Now, when we talk about the evolutionary arms race between spiders and tarantulas and these parasitic wasps, the wasps develop stronger and stronger venom, which paralyzes these tarantulas for the purpose of reproduction. Spiders, on the other hand, most of them haven't evolved a defense against these wasps besides just fighting back, which most of the time they end up losing. It's kind of hard to fight something that flies. But some spiders have evolved defenses against these spider wasp, or the tarantula hawk. One of these being the golden wheel spider. Its defense is to cartwheel to safety. And here's a visual guide on that.
A golden wheel spider. The wasp's sting will paralyze. The spider's bite is lethal. When these desert gladiators clash, the spider rarely comes out on top. But it does have an amazing exit strategy. Out of the wasp's range of vision, and out of danger. Almost.
Oops. All right. So as you can see, that the golden wheel spider developed a method of basically hurling itself down the side of sand dunes to escape the vision radius of a spider wasp. I find it quite hilarious that it throws itself like a hockey puck down a hill and rolls away. And it works for the most part outside of this one coming across that lizard. And it's a pretty cool evolutionary adaptation or way to combat the spider wasp. Because you don't always have to fight. It works if you just run away. So now let's talk about the life cycle and what makes a tarantula hawk spider wasp parasitic. Now, some spider wasps are asexual; they can reproduce on their own, but tarantula hawks do mate. So, a mature female and a mature male will come across each other. The male will fertilize her egg, and once her egg is fertilized, she will go out looking for a tarantula. They have excellent vision within that range that they have. She'll spot a tarantula, and then she'll fight it. So she'll come over, flying, attack it, sting it a whole bunch, so all that neurotoxin and venom seeps into the spider. It messes up the synapse responses in the spider, so they cannot move anymore, but they are still conscious. After this, the female goes and digs a hole, a nice little burrow. When she's done digging the hole, she'll drag the tarantula into the hole. And some species lay their eggs on the outside, like kind of in a larva form, and the egg hatches, the larva eats into the spider, and then it metamorphosizes in the spider and becomes a wasp. Some lay their eggs inside. So in this case, the tarantula hawk will lay the egg inside the spider, while the spider is still alive and conscious, by the way. Then she'll cover the hole, burying the spider alive, and then she will leave. And the egg inside the tarantula will slowly develop into a larva, and then this larva will hatch out of the egg and just eat the insides of the spider. From there, it will go under metamorphosis, pupate inside the spider, and becomes a new adult, male or female, and then the cycle repeats. The thing that makes it a parasite is that it needs the tarantula to get to that next stage in its life cycle. So it needs the tarantula as a host for its egg, for it to grow into a new adult. It cannot just lay the egg like on a rock and hope the larvae finds food that way. And I like to relate it to the xenomorph. If any of you guys have seen the Alien movies, the chest burster, where the larva burst out of the chest of the people on the spaceship. It's pretty much the same thing. It'd be horrific if they were the same size as us. Now, I believe I do have a demonstration of what this would look like if I could play it. I feel like people learn best when there's a visual demonstration. I know I do. So let me demonstrate how a spider wasp, in this case a tarantula hawk, would paralyze a little spider here. So this is our friend, Itsy Bitsy. He's a tarantula to be found in the southern western part of the United States in the Mojave Desert. And he's just moving along, and here comes me, a spider wasp, coming to scoop him up. So I would select my prey. I would pull out my neurotoxin, and I'd take this neurotoxin, itsy bitsy here, trying to fight back. I would jam it into him, and now that neurotoxin paralyzes him. This is done through many aspects. It's a mixture of proteins and peptides that go into their nervous system and jack it up, and it disrupts their neural signaling and causes paralysis. And now he can't move, but he's completely awake for this. And then, since I am a female tarantula hawk, I have to lay an egg into him. Now, some spider wasp species lay the larva up on the front, outside, and they eat their way, and others plant the egg in, it grows, it comes out, it eats the spider from the inside out, and then it morphs into a full-grown wasp. So he's paralyzed, can't do anything but just watch, and then we'll take the egg, and then we'll put it inside the little tarantula, itsy bitsy, and I've already pre-dug a hole to put this little guy into. So I would take him to the hole, drop him in there, completely conscious, just can't move. I would cover the hole with dirt, and then from there, he would sit for a couple months completely awake underneath the ground, slowly be eaten alive by the little egg, a little mini me I put in there. And that's the horrific nature of spider wasp. I'm glad I could demonstrate it for you guys with a visual aid. So I hope you really enjoyed that lifelike demonstration that I put on. And let's see. So the ecology of the spider wasp. Spider wasps and tarantula hawks can be found in every continent besides two. Antarctica, of course, can't really support much life there, especially those who are insect. In Europe, so which was kind of fascinating to discover. Europe is thought to be free of tarantula hawks because, in all actuality, there's not a lot of, large species of tarantula that live in abundance on the continent. They have common house spiders and all that, but they don't really have big spiders you can really lay an egg into and, develop healthy young. And also might just be too cold. As you can see, the northern part of North America, I think, what was that, Arkansas and above, maybe? There's no spider wasp there. Russia, Mongolia, Europe, I think it might just be too cold for there to be any, possibility of a spider wasp living in that area. But where it's warm and tropical, South America, southern part of the United States, parts of Africa, Asia, and Australia, they do just fine because in the North Americas or the Americas, they have New World tarantulas. Africa and Asia, they have Old World tarantulas, which are nice and big that these tarantula hawks can use to lay eggs. In their ecosystem, they are a top predator. I don't think much hunts a tarantula hawk wasp besides maybe a bird. But in the insect world, they are top dog. They are a key species, especially in the United States, controlling the tarantula population outside of just birds, which is pretty fascinating that such a cool insect plays such an important role in the ecosystem within the Mojave and Joshua Tree. Virulence. The tarantula dies every time. There's no really getting out of that. It's pretty much torture in the insect world, and it is a horrible way to die. It manipulates a tarantula by paralyzing it. They can't move for months on end. Thank gosh they have no parasitic effects on human or paralytic effects on human. They do have one of the most painful stings, which we will get to in a little bit. The tarantula's only hope is maybe to just to some way die as fast as possible in this dark hole with this egg inside you, or be rescued by a good Samaritan. Now I put that on there because on some social media platforms such as TikTok, there is a person who shoot off a tarantula hawk before they could impregnate the spider in the hole with the egg. So he just has a paralyzed spider, and he's been slowly feeding it and giving it water as it's been paralyzed. I think he's up to 6 months where it still hasn't, it's slowly gaining back its function in its legs to move. Of course, he's putting the food in the fangs and the water in the fangs as well. But it's a pretty horrible way to live, being trapped in your body for months on end with nothing to do. Even if you don't have an egg on you, you're just going to die a horrible death, pretty much. And the tarantula hawk stings on humans. Now, this is one of the most painful insect stings. It is rated 4 out of 4 on the Schmidt's Pain Index Scale. Now, if you never heard of Schmidt's Pain Index Scale, it's a scientist, a biologist, who wanted to see if he could rank how painful certain insect stings are. So, of course, the only way he could do that himself was to find the insect, take it, piss it off as much as he could, and then have him sting him sting him once, and then him himself would rate how bad it hurt. Now these guys rated a 4 out of 4 on the scale, as we will see what it's going to be like next. However, some good news, they are mostly peaceful if you just leave them alone, like most wasps. Just don't swat at them, don't shoo them off, don't panic, and they should not sting you. So let's play this video. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit.
They say that the sting of tarantula hawk is number 2 on the insect sting pain index. It's like being stunned with a taser.
Then eats the tarantula while it's still alive. How's that for one crazy horror story? I am ready to be stung by the tarantula hawk. Okay,
oh boy,
got a really good hold.
Wow, look at that abdomen going.
I got a really good hold on her. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the tarantula hawk. 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh! I can't move my arm! That is the most intense pain I've ever felt. It's like my arm is in a state of paralysis right now. That zone right there is a hot radiating pain.
All right. Well, besides all the editing he actually does get stung in the real video. There's a longer video about it. So the effects when it stings a human being is that you experience 5 minutes of the most intense pain you could feel from the insect sting. Your arm's paralyzed, you can't move it. After those 5 minutes, it dwells, and then you just get some swelling, which is common with other stings. So don't get stung by a tarantula hawk. Let's see. Oh, and that concludes our presentation. I'd like to play a video, see if any questions, and give a special thanks to those who have viewed my presentation. And that concludes the end of my presentation. Are there any questions about anything I stated in the PowerPoint itself, or anything pertaining to the tarantula wasp that I can hope to answer? All right. Nice. And no, I have no idea if this washes off. Thank you for viewing my presentation, and I hope you have a great day. And that's it. And oh, nope. No need to play that again. And there are my references. Thank you.